Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. An absolutely mad evening in the Valorant world with rumours circulating that Cloud9 are making at least one roster change. Ye might be on his way out of the team already after just a couple of months within the organisation. Is this going to happen? Is this all bait? But is something going on in Rostermania on the tier 1 level? Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. The first big update is on the guard side with confirmation from George from his sources that the guard will retain their Valorant team for now. We saw they released like the entirety of their content stuff and everything. They're shutting down as an organization. They're going to be gone from esports very soon, within about 12 months or so. They're going to be gone entirely. But their Valorant team will remain for now and will compete under the guard branding still as the time goes. However, the possibility is for another organization to come through, buy these guys out, pick these guys up, and have to compete for their organization rather than the guard. The other possibility, of course, here is that these players get bought out to go elsewhere. The guard have been, they pay well. I'm sure if Trent, I even mentioned it a few times, if Trent was to get an offer from a certain team, or even Valen was to get an offer from a certain team, we'll see in a second, with the Cloud9 situation, the guard might likely refuse and say, hey, we want to keep these players to make sure we win Ascension. However, now they'd probably be quite likely to try and auction off their players as much as they possibly can. So Valorant guard will be a thing for now, but probably not for too much longer. The other update is on the Masters, confirmed yesterday, I believe June the 11th through to June the 25th, of course, in Tokyo, and these are the 12 slots. We thought there was only going to be 10, but there's 2 more for China, baby. So yeah, certainly the Chinese teams are getting a lot of love from Riot lately, and you can understand why, especially with the final series of the day we're going to discuss in a few minutes time. But 3, of course, spots from the Americas region, 3 EMEA, 3 from Pacific, and then 1 extra spot goes to the region that wins lock-in. I think there's an argument to say that it should just straight up be the team that wins this event here in Sao Paulo that gets the guaranteed Masters spots, but more than likely it will be the same thing. If you win this event in Sao Paulo, you're probably good enough to get top 4 in your respective region. Let's talk roster changes then. So Purist says this last night. Been a while since I've got a kind of report or some sources coming out from Purist, but he says the following: Ye will not be part of Cloud9's active roster moving forward. It is unknown who will replace him at this time. This is an incredible bombshell, right? Ye signed an unbelievably large contract, we believe, with Cloud9 during the off-season. The question was, would he go to Sentinels? Would he go to 100 Thieves? Cloud9 were the ones to go and buy him in. And yes, individually, he hasn't been quite so good so far this season as he was last year on OpTic. But of course, like in terms of raw ability, yeah, he's still got the talent, and it's about C9 actually putting it together. And I wouldn't have been surprised if Cloud9 thought, you know what, a roster change might be necessary going into the start of the regular season, especially when you've got all the guys on the guard potentially available, the likes of, even if you wanted to change your IGL and bring Valen in or whatever, there's some possibilities there. Dropping Ye is like, what's going on here? Doesn't really make any sense, right? And the immediate reaction was like, excuse me, like, this doesn't make any sense. What's going on? Ethan's like, El Diablo, no. And even Zyppan replies and is like, good morning, what's going on? I simply don't understand what's occurring here. So maybe there is something going on at Cloud9, and there probably is. Is it involving Ye? We don't really know. Is it involving the rest of the team? We still don't really know. But something's going on there, and I think that's relatively clear, because George Geddes confirms that, like, he has been told Ye is still on the roster, but they are talking about options, right? We heard from Matthew Elmore, their coach, that they weren't super happy with the state of their roles and everything like that, and changes might be necessary. Like, he does report, George Geddes, that they are discussing internally changes, and goes on to say it's a possibility Ye is off Cloud9. From his understanding, it's not guaranteed, it's not exactly a done deal. The team is considering moves, and they're lining up some potential replacements, but nothing is done, and Ye is not guaranteed to be leaving or anything. But Purist says he is. George Geddes saying maybe, maybe not. So, I mean, this is absolutely wild, right, to think about, given that Ye is probably on the biggest contract we've ever seen in Valorant history. Now, just wanted to give some explanation as to why this might be going on. As I just mentioned, the biggest contract in Valorant history, it may be down to money. Noyan here says, and he was involved in the rumours around the Sentinels acquisition of some of the Brazilian players, Sassi and Bancada. When that was going down, he was reporting on stuff like this, and his implication is in this tweet that their money is going down the drain, Cloud9, and a lot of esports organizations, we know that's why the guys are leaving esports, have been suffering massively lately with huge layoffs and losses, and, you know, obviously crypto sponsors drying up and stuff has not helped teams like TSM and teams like Cloud9, and maybe it's a matter of simply not having the money and the resources and the capital to fund the Valorant team, because, I mean, like, the salaries of these teams, especially in NA, are crazy, right? And we heard the numbers a while ago that the top guys are getting paid 30, 40, 50k a month. I mean, this is outrageous. Like, this is way more than all the other regions. Even the arguably far superior teams at times in the European region, they're getting paid less than some of the NA pros. And, you know, whether they can actually fund this, I don't know. Whether that's one of the reasons why Ye might be getting sold or whatever, just because they simply can't afford to make it happen, rather than actually wanting to remove Ye for, like, individual performance reasons, which doesn't seem particularly likely. But last night, they even tweeted this out, emergency meeting. So, I mean, obviously, it seems like they're just joking around, right? And they're just having a bit of a good time, and actually nothing serious is happening here. But still, all the sources say something's going on at Cloud9. Whether it's Ye gone or not, we don't really know. Now, the bait, of course, continued massively as a result of this. So as soon as the rumor came out that Ye was going to get benched or dropped or whatever, or sold, Marv then says contract is official, as if he's signed straight away to Cloud9. This is bait. I don't think this is actually happening. And he even goes on to say Cloud's really blue today, so he's not even trying to pretend that he's not baiting in this instance. It's rather clear that Marv indeed is just joking around a little bit. However, if there is tier 1 Rostermania, Marv will be immediately a candidate for potential teams. He potentially wants to return. I mean, he quite clearly does want to return. He's been tweeting a lot lately. He obviously took a bit of a break, and I don't know, it just seems to me that Marv probably wants to get back in business pretty soon. Now, whether this team Cloud9 would make sense for Marv if they made some various changes within their main core of the roster and had Ye and Marv, that'd be pretty interesting. We saw that work rather well last season for a certain organization. Now, Ye tweets out as well, wait, what? What's going on? So, you know, read into this as you will, guys. I don't know what exactly to say about this tweet from Ye. Like, was he not aware? And I mean, I don't know, maybe this is a possibility that Ye actually wasn't aware that there was any discussions going on until it became public, right, by these sources that Purist puts out public. I mean, it's interesting, right? Last season, ShahZaM mentions that he heard out, apparently, that he was going to get dropped from Sentinels via Twitter rather than via his own organization. And even though they might not have done this yet and it's not been confirmed, like, there's a possibility that Ye actually found out that Cloud9 are considering changes via Twitter, which, I mean, is pretty remarkable, even if that's true. Marv says, finish what we started, run it back. We'll see about that one. And obviously, Chet goes on to say, welcome back, Ye, to NRG, right, and joining the core. I'm sure Ardis is not too concerned about his spots, having played well at the Sao Paulo event. And then Chet confirms, yeah, we're not making any changes, guys. We were just joking around. But yeah, what do you guys expect to happen? Absolute madness right now in the tier 1 scene. I expected maybe a few changes from tier 1, but not really on this level. And it might not be reasons of performance. There might be other things going on. I'm sure there's going to be more to discuss on that over the coming days. Let's talk about the Sao Paulo event then. 3 series last night. The first one was Vitality versus Global Esports. A game 3, it wasn't exactly a banger, but I was impressed that Global Esports took a map here game 2. Cool to see them turn up. But Vitality, game 1, game 3 were just a little bit stronger than their opposition. FNS, I thought, gave some nice words to Asuna, but also SK Rossi, of course, on that Global Esports team, about that they've got bright futures ahead and all this stuff. Was having some nice words. Vitality took down Global Esports 2-1, so they move on in the tournament. Split was 13-4 in the end, and then Pearl was 13-9 the other way. Lotus 13-6 back in action for Vitality, so they advance. And then a 2-0 over RRQ for Foot Esports. Interesting series. Map 2 was pretty competitive. Game 1 was, I mean, not exactly close. 13-3, 13-11 in the end. So RRQ put up a decent fight here, but it wasn't to be. One of the weaker teams, theoretically, in the Pacific region compared to the other ones that we've got. But the final series was an absolute banger between 100 Thieves and EDG. I thought this series would be, I don't know, I thought it'd be interesting because EDG are clearly, maybe not clearly, but they're very much arguably the best Chinese team. And man, like 100 Thieves were making it difficult for themselves. It went all the way to map 3 here. 100T went down 10-12 on this final map here on Pearl. And then EGG, they threw away a couple of rounds, or, you know, basically 100 Thieves just capitalized on their chances, took it to overtime, and in the end, 14-12, map 3, 100T get the W. Without that Loud versus NRG series, that was an absolute ultra banger. Like, this would have, I think, been the series of the tournament. Like, it was an unbelievable one, and all the games are pretty close. This is the immediate reaction of the head of esports over 100 Thieves here, watching this victory and them advancing to the next round. Definitely took a few years off the lives, I'm sure, of a lot of these guys and Nadeshot and the players themselves. So, look, obviously EDG are a threat. China could continue to be a threat as well, because they've only, like, the game has only just been allowed over there a few months ago, and China already looking pretty good as a region. So it's certainly scary for the opposition going forwards. As Stella says, life was flashing before my eyes. Stella went big at the end of the game, and you know, happy for Edward. They were seriously gaming yesterday, no doubt. But yeah, they don't move on, unfortunately, for them. But it's going to be exciting to see how they progress for the rest of the year, because they'll certainly be there in Masters Tokyo based on the evidence we have so far. 100T do tweet here about, like, the Edward gaming plane in the background, safe travel levels, but it was oh so close for this tweet not being valid, right? Even as Derek says, bro, enough with these. We almost took that plane home, and yeah, unbelievable series. 100 Thieves might be the best team in N8, might not be. Who knows exactly how good they are, right? Or the Edward Gaming guys are, to figure out how good 100 Thieves are, and maybe one of the reasons why he added Asuna in that tweet was that Asuna got ultra fried in this series and didn't play particularly well, but you know, doesn't matter, I guess, if you get the W with Stella going off on the main stage, right? So definitely the players that you'd expect to turn up for 100 Thieves weren't really there. Asuna had a tough series. Cryo on the Omen was certainly an interesting one, I thought, especially given how good you'd expect him to be on the Duelist Agents, and he was on the race here, didn't have a great time, and you know, honestly, like, Edward Gaming took the series down, and then the 14-12 crazy series, but really it was Stella again. Cryo and the Jet had a good map here, and all the guys delivered in a way on the final map of the series. But lots to think about for 100 Thieves going forwards, there's no doubt. Excited to see how they progress through the tournament and if they can get better and better over the coming matches. But obviously today, there were two big games. Sentinels are back in business, TenZ is here, everyone's getting ready to go, and I mean, it's the first series of the day, Sentinels versus Fnatic. I mean, what a crazy first round matchup. This is what the group looks like so far. So Secret, Na'Vi, Leviathan, Vitality, FUT Esports versus 100 Thieves. So Sen, Fnatic tonight to a T1 Fury to follow. Two massive games. Very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.